So if you go to review your score, I've give everyone 2 points for this. The graph is really finicky, and that's something I want to go over in this video. Now I kind of submitted some things just to kind of see what will work out. And the graph wants you to do this, or the problem wants you to do this using a graphing utility. So when I first put in the points of inflection, for some reason they want you to kind of estimate it, also to go on your possible concave up and concave down. So I got this too close to what it actually is instead of just giving it an estimation that also follows through this. There is one problem on this Wiley has. It should be -5 to -2. But I want to go ahead and do the online graphing calculator I use here. I gave you a link to this, so you should be able to plug in the function, the first derivative, and the second derivative, and then answer your problems from there. I'm going to go ahead and do that. So putting in the function, the first derivative, and the second derivative, and zooming in, you can see here from -5 to 5, this is what I'm concerned about. So the first thing I need an inflection. The inflection points are going to be when the second derivative equals 0, and you can see that is at -2 and 2. So if I go and plug this in, I should be able to change that from -2 to 2. Then the second part, concave up, concave down. So concave up is going to be when my second derivative is positive. So from -5 until 2, and then from 2 to 5. Concave down is going to be when my second derivative is negative, from -2 to 2. You see that? Increasing, I'm going to look at the first derivative. So my function is increasing from -3.5 to 0.3, and then from 3.3 until +5. So increasing at roughly those points. Decreasing, if I go over here to my function again, I can see it's decreasing in this interval, and that makes sense there. Now we get to graph it, right? So looking at the graph, click to start, see if it will. So I got that. My graph is also being finicky. So I got my graph to open up. What I did is I put save for later and refreshed it and then went back into it. So when I drag this over, I want my first derivative to look like this. So increasing, decreasing, increasing, or I need a 0 at -3 point, so go back up here, -3.6, and at 3.3. So I want to grab the right layout here, and this dot is going to be corresponding to this dot here. So when x is positive 0.3, my y is 0. So 0.30, I need to move this to 0.3, 1.3. I need to get that to go to 0. Oops, just there. So this is kind of tricky. If you zoom in, it might get a little bit easier to hit that 0. There you go, 0.30. So zooming out, I should see I'm just like this person. I'm negative, and then I'm positive, negative, positive. So just like what I have here, and I can go ahead and zoom out and see I'm negative, positive, negative, positive. So that fits that. And you can see here this goes up to about 60. If I zoom out here, you can see it goes up to about 60. You can see this point, -276. And I can guess this point, so pretty close there. Then I need to graph so that's the first derivative. Now I need to graph the second derivative. and that's going to be this green. And I can zoom in on this point here, the only really interesting point on a quadratic, and that's 0 comma minus 48. So 0 comma minus 48. So if I need to, oops, I can zoom in and get 0 comma minus 48. Okay, oops, and see I got a little off, so I understand this is tedious, and I gave you your guys' points for it. And so you should be able to draw this with your, maybe on paper if you sketch it out a little faster. There we go. I think that's 0 comma minus 48. So this should all be good. And I fix that issue there, submit the answer, and finally it maybe accepted everything. Doesn't look like it accepted it. But again, there's some problems with this problem. But if you have any other questions, please let me know.